What's up, everybody? It's your boy Slim Akey back with another week of crippling sciatica and another episode of Point and Laugh, the magic show where I make you a better deck builder and a worse person. This week we got a deck where bird is the word and so is bad, inconsistent, embarrassing, and ridiculous. After that, we have the single best attempt at Universes Beyond at home I have ever seen. And finishing the week off, we got the 18th reason ninjas can't have nice things. I appreciate your time. For everybody who subscribes to this video, I will remove one B from the editing enclosure. Mango! Activate the device.
I'm gonna teach you how to ride.
Beak Performance. This is the best bird name I've seen. I really like Castrol's versatility, even if I'm annoyed that it's specifically stapled to birds. This is more of a test to see if having card draw, mana cheating, recursion, and pumping is any good at 5 mana when you have to connect. The goal is to get out flying creatures and use the ability of the commander to gain value and beat people to death with big birds. Yeah, we could have done Beak Birdformance, although that's a little bit lost in the sauce. So there's Castrol. Whenever one or more birds hit a bit, you can recur a bird, you can put a 1/1 counter on your entire board, or you can draw a card. So we are incentivizing hitting multiple people. Albatross. So we can exile something, but they can recast it. We can draw a card. Is this all of our card draw? Because this, okay. It's beginning to make sense now. I mean, none of your card draw is bad. But outside of Kindred Discovery, basically none of your card draw actually just says draw a card, which is a pitfall that a lot of people fall into the issue of when they begin building around an archetype. They tell themselves, okay, everything I put in the deck has to only do something if the archetype is already succeeding. You are pulling a P.T. Barnum from that Hugh Jackman musical, where he just kept reinvesting all of his profits, and then when the tour failed, he became immediately broke. 8 card draw is pretty good if your commander draws cards. It's less good when your commander is an extremely shootable 5-mana bird. Off the bat, this looks like when it works, holy fuck does it work? And if it's not working and we haven't drawn Kindred Discovery, we are absolutely fucked. Feed the bird. Okay, 41 lands. I would like this a lot more if you could draw any cards. I am a 40 land believer. I built my first 40 land deck the other day. Not the other day, but before MagicCon Chicago, and it was quite fun. If you ever fail to pick up most of your deck, it just becomes the flood zone. Like, it's just you and Shamu staring at each other in dead silence. Free bird. So here's protection. I think this is a relatively healthy amount of protection. House Wren, the green player is laughing. We have ramp. I love Deep Known Terramancer. You definitely deserve this. Why do we hate mana rocks, bro? The green player laugh has to be coming from inside the house. I can't believe we went in white blue. We went, I need mana. What the fuck do I do? Obviously, I play colorless exploration. Obviously, I must find a way to play 2 lands a turn. I don't hate it in this deck. If you ever stick Kindred Discovery, hell yeah. Oh, this is just like stacks into eventually I get to play a... God, this is bad. Okay. Dowsing Dagger seems fine because we're gonna have flyers, so we can get flyers over. Legion's Landing, at some point we probably want to do this. Scholar of New Horizons is at minimum acceptable. So importantly, I saw that you said at one of your pods, mana rocks are getting blown up. Oh, this card is really hot for picking the finality counters off. Are they getting blown up like turn 2? Like, do you just have Johnny Naturalize hanging out? Because in my mind, I would legitimately be totally unbothered about my mana rocks getting removed after I had resolved my commander and begun land dropping. He plays like every version of Rexage. Okay, so he lost to an Urza list once and he's never been the same. I like birds, and now we have a list of and now we just have every bird in the game. I don't mind this guy. He'll at least grow. We're not doing catch-up ramp. We're doing no ramp. We're doing hopeful ramp. We're doing I will dream one day of ramping, but it's not gonna happen for a while. God damn. Now we're playing Rexage. I think Evolve is... Honestly, I think this guy sucks. Best case scenario, this man's existence is justified by drawing him late game when we have Kindred Discovery. Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to agree with Umbuka, where like God gave you Tempest Hawk for a reason. God gave you Tempest Hawk for a goddamn reason, and I'm trying to imagine the situation where I'm happy having played Cloudfin Raptor on 1. And maybe best case scenario, no defense, he's an early bird. Okay. I think the deck as a whole is pretty good, but I think that, and we'll see if this bears out in the Goldfish, overwhelmingly, you are a train that is very easy to stop early on, and if people let you cook, you can probably cook pretty hard, and if they just gently put a hand on your shoulder and they say, hey, please don't cook, you're putting the pans away, ovens off. Yeah, dog, I fucking hate ramping. Okay, we had that turn too. Play this guy. Hey, you fucking wild growthing? Not on my table, bozo. All right, clear land pass for 5 turns. And then we do Cloud Chaser Castrol. So we have 2 swings, we draw 1, we get counters on everybody. We don't have 4 flying creatures, so we swing again with a 2/4 and a 3/3. We draw a card, put a bird on. We can only put birds to hand. Or I guess before we went to combat this turn, we would play Double Strike Lifelink, hope nobody's mean to us. So we have 3 double striking Lifelinkers. We don't have any birds, so first round of combat. I'm gonna fucking draw an additional card, and I've already put counters on. Second round of combat, we double strike. I'm at least once selecting to put Ishai to field, and then I'm just gonna like draw 2 here. I'll put Ledger Shredder to grave because I can get it back next turn. So now what do we get to do? We could play this. So now everything has indestructible, and I guess we just tap out. So now we have big board, flying indestructible, lifelink, double strike. Awesome. Ibis, the assumption is already that we are doing 1 hit to each opponent and that nobody has had a single flying blocker all game and nobody has removed anything or stopped anything we've done. A little bit generous, maybe, but we're trying to see the ceiling right now.
None of this would be possible without support from our highest tier Patreon members, so please join me and Little Nadu as we take a moment to thank Badger King, Sussedin, Christian B, Ryan A, Adam S, Solar Movie, Biggest Dickus, Kyle, Jess HW, Alpha Dog 2064, Crimson Viper, Zelenor, Otterfire, Dad Out for Milk, Kyler P, Bolus Brigade, Derek H, Phelan, B Leave, Dungeon Masters Consortium, Zach G, Bobby Joe Lord, Talamar Von Geist, Troper and their 37 different identities, Bradley T, Bo, Beefcake, and Silky Wilkie. Thank you all and enjoy the video. Hi everybody, welcome to the Mango Money Moment, a new segment that exists only because YouTube has told us that if their automatic mid-roll placer doesn't believe that my video has enough dead air in it to constitute a transitional phase, they will not put monetized ads in the middle, which can really cut into the editor's leak budget. So we're gonna have these moments where we just stop and stare for a little bit.
What I want to draw your attention to is to make stuff happen in this deck, we've had to tap out every turn. That is directly at odds with all of our interaction being instant speed 1-for-1s because we don't have good inevitability. The place this deck kind of wants to occupy is the tempo zone. By the time Castrol hits the field, we got to be doing stuff. We got to be birded up, and we have to be translating either the 1/1 counters or the card draw into big stuff. At no point was there like anything super worthwhile we could have done and played a counter spell or even like protected the things we were doing. We didn't have enough early creatures to turn on Sephara. We could have like skipped doing True Conviction, but even if we skip True Conviction, the only thing we hold up is Amphibian Downpour, which doesn't allow us to do that much either. And I think this is where the Tempest Hawk check comes back in, because Tempest Hawks can, worst case scenario, guarantee that you have 2 birds in play by the time Castrol gets played, and then we'll also convert 2 additional birds onto field for the turn after. I don't think a lot of these issues are fixed with Derevi as the commander. I think Derevi is a stronger commander than Castrol, but I think this just becomes like a different deck, and Derevi is just a flatly better commander than any other bird commander, because Derevi barely gives a fuck about birds. So anyway, if we're gonna be on Castrol, and if we are going to allow our life to be controlled by the bullies being fucking Johnny Naturalize in your pod who keeps blowing everything up, we have to be more confident that the board is going to be converting by turn 5, and I think you have to start moving away from counter spells, quite frankly. Like, I think at most the things you want to put on are flares. You will have non-token white creatures, you will have non-token blue creatures, and importantly, if these are ones you haven't put a finality counter on, you can recur after. Okay, we have the white flare, good. However, things like Aven Interrupter, I could at least understand. We would hold up mana for that because it's still board committal. Yeah, we have that flare. But because you're too afraid to ramp, we never had the mana for any of this to happen. We have this in the deck already. All right, now that chat has completely forgotten what is already in the deck, we are going to place you on the matrix and move on. I think you're like over here. I think we're working towards something. I think your tag game is great, which makes me like you as a person. However, this deck was deeply, deeply befuddled by the sentence, "It's 2 mana and it's a bird." Let's move on to Archeon of Winter's deck, Silly, Spooky. A deck that is fully based around the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, featuring characters, iconic moments, and more. This deck, while a theme deck, must not be underestimated as it still does work. It's built to be a fast aggro deck that uses Sonic's ability to create a lot of rings quickly in order to power out more hasty threats or make use of the rings in different ways. Hell yeah, another Jund brother or sister or sibling. I fuck with it. Okay. How's haste? That's Sonic. Marine. I'm holding you to all of these. Marine the raccoon. She's wearing green. What the fuck is happening? Can I not scroll down on this fucking website? Thank you. We stretching a little bit, but I'll give it to you. Mephiles the Dark. That one's actually right on. Did we tag every card? No, okay, we went to card draw. This gotta be the furthest anyone has ever gone to justify their theme deck. Does every card? No, not every card. Almost every card has an individual tag being like, I swear it's Sonic. Perfect Chaos. Damn, you cooked a little. We're tagging lands, brother. Oh my god, I think I even agree with this. Cream. Is cream that other knuckle? Yeah, she's a Thopter, basically. Okay. E123 Omega? This is a fucking lore video. Alright, big robot. This is probably the first one that I truly doubt. Great card for the deck. But Tyrannid to me does not speak to massive robot. See, Archeon, I'm down to appreciate the custom art proxies later. However, at the point where we are like every single one of these is a Sonic reference, I think the custom art just allows you to like speak reality into existence. Egg Fleet. Yes, this is a large battleship. I mean, do we have Mishra? Is he like in here as like a Eggman version or something? I see 1-of-1 match. Can we? Okay. Neo Metal Sonic. All right, so we are going for the goofy meld bullshit. What the fuck is a Pico hammer? Damn, it's that. It's Hammer of Perforos. Rings item box. Oh shit. Oh my god. Do not even suggest that I think of Jolene the Plunder Queen in a Rouge the Bat cosplay. Eggman pisses on the moon. What? Holy shit, it's Egg... Okay. Yes. Okay. This is weapons grade special interest, my man. As an autistic man, you might be our king. All right, this one I think you just put a name on something. And I want to be clear, this deck is peak as fuck. The rings are now 7/7 dinosaurs. That was just you being like, fuck it, put a tag on it. It's for the effect making the rings into power unlimited. That is I love this deck and I love you. And in this place of love, I need us to both be so real about what a broad interpretation of power unlimited 7/7 dinosaurs are. If you pull up a meme video for me where Sonic, using the power of the rings or the Chaos Emeralds, summons a herd of dinosaurs, I will retract that minor criticism immediately. But otherwise, I think this is high school English class levels of justification for how that is supersonic. The Master Emerald. Okay. So if I have, let's follow the lore of the Master Emerald to its conclusion. If Sonic is powerful, the Master Emerald is easier to obtain. Check. The Master Emerald provides me resources. Check. The Master Emerald powers up all of my other hedgehogs. Check. Emeralds are green. Check. I fucking hate it. All right, fine. I'll contest you on displaced dinosaurs. Unfortunately, the Great Henge gets 10 out of 10 on flavor in this deck. I also want Master Emerald costs $80. Check. This is actually so terrible for all of you because this is the new standard for theme deck. If I do not see an individual tag for every... All right, spin dash, dog. Don't... Come on. Spin dash? That's some Pilates ass stretching right there. But anyway, as a whole, this is amazing. Yep. Wizards won't even do this good in the eventual Universes Beyond. Sure, it's interaction. But yeah, Wizards won't hit this shit as hard in the Universes Beyond when they do Sonic. What the fuck did you tag Marionette Master? Hold on. How are we... Eggman. Okay. Type shit. My fault. I didn't recognize your game. Who the fuck is... This guy better be Knuckles. Vector? Oh, Knuckles is... Yeah, Knuckles is 2 people. Definitely. Oh, that motherfucker is Vector, actually. My fault. I believe in the flavor 100%. I require no additional convincing on the flavor of the deck. I think that we have some, at worst, broad interpretations with respect to the meaning of unlimited power. I don't think we have any lies, which we get a lot of when we have flavor decks. Some people will just be like, displaced dinosaurs? That's Knuckles, baby. Why? Because I said so. So I fuck with the flavor. All right, so let's see how the Goldfish goes. So for those of you who wants to know how the deck's actually going to function, we are playing things with haste to get tapped treasure tokens to fuel additional hasty threats. If I saw this in a commander game, I don't think I would ever be like, can't keep it. It's a little bit tough because it only has 2 lands and it doesn't have any ramp, but we have a healthy amount of interaction to probably like buy time till we... Okay, 3rd land off the top. Beautiful. Turn 2, we fucking... Hey, somebody's Soul Ring, eat shit. We have a 2/2 with Double Strike. We have additional interaction, but we don't have a ton to do. This is opponent's controls, so we can't ramp ourselves. All right, turn 5. Very fast, very Sonic, very aggro. We're going to play a 3/3 on turn 5, and we're going to make a tap treasure. Nobody blocks because they're too busy appreciating the genius that is the flavor of this deck. Now we play Rada. So we swing all 3, 2 tapped treasures, and we're going to float 3 green mana. So in this case, if we have to swing into somebody that's going to have a blocker, we could like Beast Within the blocker. They can't block because they're too busy reading the 14-page booklet you brought to explain all the references. Next turn, we can play that. We have, how much mana do we have? We have 8 mana. So we could Reign of Riches, which would get us double treasure. And then we could murder. We could murder something to swing for our blocks, which would cascade for 2. We get a fucking Chaos Emerald out of it. This goes to bottom. We make 2 tap treasures. We float some mana. Maybe we have to like Heroic Intervention. Okay, Samut's crazy. But I feel like we instead just like in Garruk's Wake and we get a fucking Gruul Signet out of it. So everybody else's shit is dead. We've spent all our money. I'm gonna pretend you have infinite mana and we play Samut, and now we swing. I think we've threatened across the course of the game like 15 damage. This might be the best one I've ever seen, but I don't know if we are beating the 1 allegations. But maybe that's just a bad opening hand. Maybe the opening hand needs to be... Maybe we have to mulligan to turn 3 Ognis. First hand, free mulligan. We go down to 6. We go down to 5. That's better. So we can get rid of the Balrog, my favorite Sonic character. And think we get rid of... We'll get rid of displaced dinosaurs for the time being. So we go there, there. Turn 3, no Ognis. Hurts more than a little bit. We sack our Signet to make 2 treasures and draw 2. This enters tapped, but we can at least turn 4 Ognis. We can on curve Ognis. Oh, it's just a treasure. Oh, God. So we don't get to do any of that. Oh, fuck, man. Okay. We scoop in shame from that game. Okay, this is the legendary turn 3 Ognis. Opening hand, tap land. Turn 2, Signet. Turn 3, boom, Ognis. Fucking tapped treasure. Turn 4, I'm gonna crack this Verdant Catacombs for a Blood Crypt. Oh, that's actually one of the first fetch land cracks on stream that's legal. That's cool. We play Orin Frostfang. We get to draw a card now. We have Displaced Dinosaurs. We get to draw a card now. And notably, this is now a tapped 7/7 because of Displaced Dinosaurs. Okay. I now see why seeing this playtest versus the previous playtest puts a lot of perspective on why you stretched so far to include Displaced Dinosaurs. God, I wish this was better. God, I wish this... I love it. I love it as a flavor execution so much. I think we are fighting for our lives to punch up to precons. So I think that puts you on the eastern cliff face. It is incredible. It is incredible, but some of those goldfishes struck such a deep chord of sadness within my bones that I can't in good conscience call it like true best of the best. Wow, what a good... This is forever the bar of, oh, I'm doing a personally themed like pseudo Universes Beyond deck, because this totally lives up to what it says it's going to do, and it has keepable hands that result in stoppable but highly impressive gas, and that's awesome. Oh no. Oh, Vine Boom this man. This is help written in the sky, but like emotional help, not gameplay help. Okay, so we have Satoru Umezawa, and then we have the 12 creatures every Satoru Umezawa deck runs. Shout out my guy Valgavoth, because I do love him very much. All of these are fine. I got nothing to tell you. Sure. No, actually, I'm not sure. I'm Vine Booming you. What the fuck are we doing, bro? Why is this not one-sided? Our whole shit is about cheating in massive things. Why would we ever be willing to board wipe any of those? Draw, yeah. Overcosted, ridiculous, who gives a fuck? 1 tutor, legitimately not enough. All right, so lovingly, I love ninjas. One of the first decks I ever built was Satoru Umezawa, because I thought he was so cool. I thought ninjutsuing was so great. The problem with Satoru Umezawa is that because he is not a ninja commander, he is a mana cheating commander, and mana cheating is so powerful, you go straight to bracket 4 jail the moment that you have any good hits. And any good hits is gonna come as a shock to you, not Colossus of Akros, but like as soon as you can put Ancient Silver Dragon into play for 4 mana, we're straight into bracket 4 jail. We've tried to pull the brakes a little bit by not having Blightsteel, by not having, we have picked the worst Eldrazi to try to hold ourselves back. And I think you can kind of sneak this guy into the top end of bracket 3, But the issue that you are always going to present is nobody can ever let you do the thing, because doing the thing is practically winning the game on the spot. You get a 4-mana Ulamog, you haven't won the game right there. It's like you're basically eliminating one player from the game every turn rotation. It is in effect. I'm not going to say you're a bad person. You are. It just wouldn't be helpful to be rude to you in this moment. This is so strong that it just basically always deserves to go all the way, rather than trying to back it up to be fair. Satoru Umezawa is like always spooky, scary, and that is the weakest he can be. The highest he can be is just straight up scary, but the weakest he can be is spooky, scary. And if you are a relatively new player, or if you haven't played a lot with like mana cheatery, it is understandable that you wouldn't recognize that. So before we go into the rest of like how would we change this deck to make it do what you want, I just want like clear eyes, full heart, you a bitch, I'm a bitch with you. Let's get to scoundreling. It felt fair until I started proxying, and that, I mean, Satoru Umezawa is one of the commanders where not being limited by collection can power it up a fair bit. But the thing is, I want you to understand is if you were just a person with more disposable income, would that make the deck more fair? Like, would it be more chill for you to drop an Ulamog onto the field turn 4 if you had the $50 to turn into an Ulamog? Like, in the context of fair for that commander game? Or would it still have the effect of like, oh, well, Jeremy's fucking dead. Kick rocks, bitch. More like I upgraded it over time. Okay, that makes sense. Here's the way you make a silly Satoru Umezawa deck, or you make a fair Satoru Umezawa deck. You have to do what Archeon did with the like Sonic the Hedgehog deck. You have to pick a gimmick that you commit so hard to that it forces you to take bad ninjutsu hits. As soon as you start putting good creatures into ninjutsu with Satoru Umezawa, and they are in the big guys section because they're a good creature, you are in spooky, you are probably in scary. But if you are like, this is my Satoru Umezawa deck, it is a beginning to end retelling of the story of Riverdale. But also importantly, you can't do IPs where people fight. If you were like, this is my Satoru Umezawa deck, everything in here is a Bleach reference. Yeah, man, I believe you. Here's Yami. Or here's a Menos Grande. If we want it to be more functional, we can do that. If we want it to be more thematic, I can brainstorm with you on like themes you can do. But I think the first thing we have to decide, more functional. Okay, we want this to be better and better and better. Then what we need is stuff that is going to, I mean, hey, first stop, Menos Grande, baby. I hate to say it, but this is the Satoru meme for a reason. Putting a thing onto the field that can just kill a player instantly is about the ceiling of what you can do. There are some other like cute things you can do. I don't know if Vile Mutilator is the right guy. It is the right guy. So like other cute value stuff you can do is have ETB control. You get to cheat the ETB cost of Vile Mutilator because you're not casting it, you're ninjaing it in. There's also Dusk Mangler, as Jisoo was saying, but anything that says like on enter, something very bad is going to happen to you, and it's no longer going to be fair because I don't have to let the bad thing happen to me. Or you can do, big drop stacks pieces like Nick is saying. Now, the thing to be careful about with the tickler, when you do this, a pretty good player will concede. A very good, very competitive player might not concede. Really bad players won't concede and will just play against you disdainfully for like 20 more fucking minutes while you wrap the game up. But the tickler is a great way to just be like, hey, I stick this. Do you have an answer right now? No? Bag that shit up. But you gotta have people with some emotional fortitude if you're going to play Jin Gataxis. All right, so we do this. We have our commander on turn 3. Do we hit a land? No, but we can Thought Vessel. And again, if we get to take this turn and nobody has shot our very cool ninja in the chest, they have made a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake. Because then if we make it to turn 5, our hits are either Mind Leech Mass, Valgavoth, Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. Any of these 3 things that we cheat in on turn 5 is such an incredible escalation of hostilities, they usually let me have my first ninjutsu. Why? Why in God's name? The Reanimator theme doesn't play super well with the Eldrazi Titans, but it doesn't have to if most of the Reanimator theme is via Grave Tutors. Like, this is just we have plenty of non-Eldrazi hits that we don't really mind if we're not Grave Tutoring Eldrazi. If we're dealing with a pod that is still in that aspirational phase of playing Commander, where they are highly concerned with letting everybody else do the thing before the gloves come off, Satoru Umezawa is going to be an incredibly difficult commander to navigate in a pod like that, because the stuff you can do with him is so good, and because people are letting you do stuff, that is a very, very dialed in recipe for hurt feelings, because if you ever do anything too good, people feel taken advantage of. Everyone's individual notion of what is too good is so fueled by individual biases that you're going to end up walking on eggshells all the time. So in that light, I think making the Valgavoth deck scarier is probably wrong, because if you don't have to fight for that first ninjutsu, doing the stuff we're suggesting is just going to scare the hoes, and everyone's going to be really upset, and they're going to be like, this is why we can't let Kevin cook ever. However, it's going to be near impossible to suggest stuff that actually is appropriate, because we have no idea what the indestructible Justin in your playgroup was previously traumatized by. I think you've done good. I think this is solid. I'm going to put this above the Kindred Brainworm on the Riz axis, but you have totally functional deck that I am frankly a little limited on what I can tell you to do, because this is the one that stands out to me, as well as Octavia Living Thesis, because this is where you're monologuing. Mind Leech Mass, fucked up theft card. Silver Dragon, fucked up card draw. Brass Dragon, fucked up reanimate. Valgavoth, Mothra, hell yeah. Ulamog, hell yeah. And then we're like, silly octopus,